Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Nameless, the one thing you must recall. And we are still on Tay's route. We are on the chapter Stolen Harp, I believe. So I guess we can expect the theft of a harp in this chapter at some point. But for now, we had our ankle injured, and apparently 3 of the guys asked Mr. Eugene to take a look at our ankle. So we just came from there, and now he shoved us out of his office and locked us out. Come on, Ari, give it up. You're not going to get any more information out of him. Just move on. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. I felt complicated and iffy. There were still things I wanted to ask. But since the bell rang, I have to go so I'm not late for class. I barely lifted my heavy feet and headed to the classroom. Anyways, I didn't know Yuri, Red, and Tay worried about me that much. I imagined the 3 of them taking turns annoying Mr. Eugene. I couldn't help but laugh at that thought. And besides, Tay even said he'd give his body. I was very surprised. Yeah, that doesn't sound right when you put it that way. He told me we should keep our distance at the academy. I pouted, but I couldn't keep my eyes from smiling. I should definitely thank him later. You could text him now to thank him? Apparently we're not big into texting on Tay's route. Nobody texts each other, and why are there so many traveling screens? Hi, Zion. We're here? Zion? We didn't see Zion, who always greeted us. I glanced around to look for him, but I didn't see him anywhere. Did something happen? We were standing still at the entrance like that when someone else walked toward us from the counter.
Oh, you guys are here.
Huh? Oh, Tay! Hello! I was waiting for Zion, since I naturally thought he'd come, but Tay came out. Soy was stiff like a stick. Her cheerful voice broke up because she was so nervous. Her cheeks turned pink in an instant, and she couldn't keep her eyes away from him for a second. This never fails to amaze me. Usually she's so wild, like a fierce hunter. But whenever she's around Tay, she always becomes this shy girl. Amazing. Since Soy stood frozen at the spot, I had to be the one to ask about Zion. Hey, Tay, but are you by yourself today? At my question, Tay looked like he just remembered something.
Oh, are you guys standing there because Zion isn't here? He's over there.
Tay pointed to a dark corner beside the counter. At that corner, Zion was crouched down with his knees gathered together. Aw, what's he pouting about? It was covered in the shadow, so I didn't notice it before. When Soy saw that, she came back to her senses and approached him. Oh my god! Zion! What are you doing there? Are you sick?
Oh, hello.
You came. Zion said hi with a weak voice. I could tell something was going on with him. Oh, what's wrong, Zion? Did something happen to him? Zion looked like he was witnessing the world coming to an end. What happened in the last couple of days? Soy and I looked at Tay, confused.
Oh, that.
Tay looked uncomfortable, but soon explained. A few moments later. What? The harp's missing! Oh, it's already gone.
Shh, your voice is too loud.
Tay put his finger on his mouth and whispered. At that, Soy got excited again and started huffing and puffing. Then, aren't you in big trouble? How about Mr. Hobbin? What did he say?
Mr. Hobbin's on a business trip right now. He found some excellent tea leaves and went to get them. He'll be back tomorrow.
Tay glanced at the empty counter. Zion was still crouched down, looking like he's about to cry. Oh, poor Zion. Oh, then it's more serious since he's not here. Didn't he say his grandfather passed it down to him?
Yeah, that's why we're in more trouble. And we have no idea what happened. The harp isn't something anyone can just carry and sneak out. It would have to be someone who knows banjo and the harp really well.
Isn't Zion the only one?
That's right. Zion even has the key, so things look really bad right now.
Well, it can't be Zion or he wouldn't be this upset. I'm pretty sure he's not upset because he's worried that he could be blamed for it. He's upset because he really liked the harp and he misses it.
Zion might have to take responsibility for the harp if we can't find who took it.
Tay looked troubled and frowned. Zion, who was trembling in the corner, turned pale at hearing our conversation. I felt so bad for him. That's unfair. He must be the saddest one to have the harp stolen. How can he be responsible for that?
Yeah, I think so too. But the situation is complicated since the harp isn't cheap.
As I stood up for Zion, Tay agreed. But I didn't feel better at all. To be honest, I don't know that much about Zion and Banjul. I don't really remember what the harp looks like, and I've never seen Zion play it. But the reason I'm so worried is because Tay works here. When Tay told me he'd be working here, I couldn't help but worry. When I actually saw Banjul and the people working here, I stopped worrying. I felt happy to know that Tay was working at such a good place with good people. So Banjul became important to me too. But something bad's happened now. Soy looked worried. Isn't there any way? Maybe we can borrow a harp before Mr. Hoppin comes and switch for a while.
A harp's not that easy to find. Besides, that harp is antique, so it'll be difficult to find the same model. And to find it until tomorrow would be impossible.
I think he means before tomorrow? Every time Tay crossed out possible options, we grew more and more disheartened. Soy clutched her head. This is such a disaster. I can't just stay here. Oh, wait a moment. I'll go and see if there's anyone who knows how to get a harp. Soy looked at poor Zion one more time and left the cafe with her phone. I whispered to Tay after Soy left. Will Zion be okay?
I don't know.
What should I say? Let's see. It's sad to lose something so precious. He cherished that harp so much. He must be so sad right now. I hope we find it soon. I remembered how Zion smiled like the happiest person on earth when he talked about the harp. He said he started working here because of it. I felt bad for Zion. Tay stared at me. Huh?
He seemed to be sure that Zion didn't take it.
Of course, he'd never have stolen it.
How can you be so sure?
Look at his face. That face he's making right now.
That face?
Tay looked confused. Yeah, that face. I've seen it before.
When?
At Grandpa's funeral. Tay looked like he wanted to hear more. That was how I looked when I saw myself in the mirror. I said it, but it still made me sad. Tay was lost for words for a moment. Yes, that day, I looked like Zion. He looked flustered, devastated, and lost. As if he'd lost something he thought would be by his side forever. I'd been there before, so I can't possibly suspect Zion. Of course, the situation's a bit different, but I think he's that devastated. He looks so sad. He would never have taken it.
Okay, I get it.
Tay listened silently to what I said and nodded. He even gave me a smile. How many harps do they have? It's still in the picture on the left here. Yeah, I hope we find it soon. I kept worrying about Zion. I tried to think about what I could do, but nothing came to mind.
I think it's not because you went through something similar that you don't suspect Zion.
What? Tay gave me a kind smile.
I think it's because you have a good, innocent heart. You can trust people.
Oh. My face turned red at the sudden compliment. I did feel embarrassed, but Zion still bothered me. But regardless, Tay continued on.
Eri, you're a good person. Stay that way. I know there are people who can cheer up to see you like that.
He was so serious, I ended up nodding. But even though Tay smiled pleasingly, I couldn't understand why he was suddenly saying that to me. I just kept worrying about Zion and the harp. I was startled at the sound of the door opening and hurriedly backed away from Tay. Sure enough, it was Soy who came in. I could see from her frowning face that things didn't go so well. Of course there's no one around with a harp. We all sighed at what she said.
I'm back.
Oh, you're here? Tay came in pretty late today, too. I stayed awake to see him.
Yeah. Where's everyone else?
They're all sleeping. What happened with the harp? I asked about the harp as soon as I saw him. But he looked gloomy and shook his face. My shoulders drooped. Okay, I guess it's gone.
It just completely disappeared. There aren't any signs of a break-in. I don't even know if someone actually stole it.
What do you mean you don't know if someone actually stole it? What could have happened to it then? Tay looked at his empty hands and said, Mr. Hobbin said that the harp was passed down to him, right? I don't know how Zion will be able to handle this.
I'm worried too.
I couldn't help but sigh at thinking of Zion. I've only met him a couple times, but I guess I grew to like him since he was always so nice. Tay shrugged his shoulders.
Cheer up. Others will think you own the harp.
What? Tay tried to cheer me up with a light-hearted attitude.
Don't worry so much. I was prepared to explain everything to Mr. Hobbin anyway. Now it's late. You should go to bed.
As I stood still looking dejected, Tay let out a sigh.
Did you stay awake because you worried? You still have to take care of yourself. You look awful.
Thanks a lot, Tay. I appreciate the compliment. I feel like Tay is going to start nagging me soon. He already started! Sure enough, he continued talking like my mom.
Zion is still a stranger to you. Don't worry about other people, and go to bed. I feel bad about the harp going missing, but I'll worry more if you don't get enough rest.
But I can't help myself.
Don't worry too much and go to sleep. Just leave the rest to me.
Or are you going to track the harp down? You're going to be a sleuth now, Tay? Okay. Tay finally smiled after I forced out an answer. Tay laid down his coat and bag on the sofa and headed to the bathroom. I watched him as he went. I guess Tay's the one more worried and busy right now. He knew Zion longer than I did. But I feel like I forgot that earlier for some reason and nagged him too much. I feel bad. Besides, he must be tired from working late. I went to the sofa and gathered his things. I should take these to his room. I was about to grab his jacket. Huh? This is a key? I picked up the key that fell to the ground. I have a bad feeling about this. I held it up and saw a keychain with Banjol's logo on it. I widened my eyes. Then this is the key to Banjol. I remembered Zion looking like he wanted to cry. A person who just lost something precious. I knew that feeling so well. Grandpa, how would Zion feel right now? We have to sneak out to Banjol, but I gotta save first. Sneak out to Banjol, which is probably not a good idea, but that's what we gotta do. Oh, and she agrees with me. I know it's a really bad idea to sneak into the building, but they say criminals always go back to the scene of the crime. I might be able to find some clues. Oh, we have to go through all the screens again. It's just like amnesia. It's opened. Well, you're lucky there's no alarm. Among the silence, I heard the loud click of the door being unlocked. I glanced around for a while and hurried into the cafe. My heart pounded like when I first found the key. I was so nervous, I thought he'd seen through my clothes and find the key in my pocket. But thankfully, Tay didn't notice anything after he came out of the bathroom. And I acted calm, told him good night, and went back to my room. I laid on my bed and pretended to sleep for a moment. Before leaving the house, I made sure to check the lights turning off in his room. He would never let me go to Banjol at this hour if I tell him. I might be able to find something they missed. That thought led me to Banjol. I gulped and clenched my fists. I hope I can find something. I stood at the entrance and looked around the hall. No matter how carefully I look around, I only see one entrance. That's a fire hazard! Then whoever took the harp came in and walked out through this door. I looked around all corners of the cafe, but as Tay said, there weren't any traces left. Besides, looking around wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. There's a harp right there on the left, Ari! I found it! I didn't turn the lights on to make sure no one knew I snuck in. I could barely see anything. Well then, how are you going to look for clues? You didn't bring a flashlight? Besides, the elegant antique decorations were kind of creepy to see at night. I should have bought a jacket. The cold air surrounded me. I stood there, shivering. It was at that moment I heard someone coming up the stairs. Maybe it was because it was night, but the footsteps sounded so loud. And whoever it was coming up very fast. Ugh! My heart beat faster the louder the footsteps became. I quickly hid in the corner of the cafe. Who would come at this hour? Is it the thief? My heart pounded more to think that. What if it's really the thief? At that moment, I thought of what could happen if it really is the thief. I'm here by myself. If I face the thief one-on-one, it would be difficult for me to catch him. If he sees me, he would never just let me go since I'm the witness. I could almost hear my own heartbeat. My clenched hands started to sweat. I then realized how dangerous it is for me right now. The footsteps didn't stop and just came closer. I crouched down to hide myself better. The footsteps finally stopped in front of the entrance. And then the door opened, cutting through the silence. Ugh. Is it Tay? The light suddenly turned on. Did he realize that the key and I were both gone? Came to come get me? And is he the culprit? My hopes of not getting caught in the dark were completely destroyed. Why didn't you hide under the piano at least? Caught up in fear, I couldn't say anything and just shut my eyes. Oh, if I close my eyes, he can't see me. How old are you, Ari? I heard the footsteps stop literally right in front of me. I felt someone move. And then, someone touched my shoulder. Ah! Too scared, I couldn't even open my eyes and just screamed. And swung my fist at the person I couldn't see.
Calm down, calm down.
This voice. I slowly raised my head. Oh. It was a big and familiar figure. And this voice. Huh? I finally opened my eyes and raised my head. Tay's face filled my sight. I heard him panting over my head. I couldn't see his face properly because he had his back to the light. But it's definitely Tay who's standing in front of me. But he's not really himself. Surprisingly, Tay was shaking a bit. What happened? I was a bit scared to see him like that. Tay?
Thank God you're safe.
Tay let out a deep sigh. He always smiled softly, but right now he was frowning hard. Did he worry about me that much to still shake like that? I came back to my senses to see him act so strange. What did I just do? And then I realized I snuck out of the house. Besides, I basically stole his key from his jacket. I wish they would stop saying sneaked. That's not a word. I had nothing to say because I knew that I did wrong. Tay raised his head and looked at me.
Something bad could have happened to you. How could you just go out by yourself this late?
I lowered my head. I had nothing to say to him. I just thought maybe I might find some clues. My voice faded away. Tay lowered his voice to see me like that.
If there were any clues, we would have already found it. It's not something you can just solve by yourself.
Are you mad?
Besides, taking my key, is Zion that important to you?
What? What do you mean if Zion's that important?
Never mind.
One thing is sure, Tay worried about me. I should first say sorry. Sorry, the key fell to the ground and I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry for worrying you. As I kept on apologizing, Tay let out another sigh. Really, I've never seen him this unkempt. It was scary and strange.
I don't care about the key. But if something happened to you here, I would have gone crazy.
Tay? I was surprised at what he said. Did I worry him too much? Tay was still shaking. I looked up and stared into his eyes. And I realized he looked like he was about to cry. Instead of being angry, he looked like he was afraid.
What if someone really bad came right now instead of me? There wouldn't be anything I could do. I don't want that to happen, even in my dreams.
I'm sorry. I went closer to him, and carefully, I grabbed his big hand. His cold hand was still trembling. I held on to it tightly. Sorry. I'm really sorry. Tay wasn't getting mad at me. He was worrying about me. His eyes didn't shake from anger, it was from fear. The fear of something bad happening to me made him tremble. I felt like crying at how much he cared for me. I felt so sorry and so grateful. Tay calmed himself down as he saw that I was about to cry as well. He held up his hand I was holding on to, and then he held up his other hand to put on mine. His cold hands grew warm. I felt his trembling slowly disappear. My face was heated and felt hot. Tay said, in a sad voice,
If something happens to you. No, even thinking about that, I can't handle it.
Tay.
You mean so much to me.
Okay, thanks. Can't you reciprocate? Can't you tell him that he means a lot to you too, Eri? Please. Tay put into words what he always felt. I quietly nodded.
So, don't do something like this if you don't want to kill me from all the worry.
All right. Tay let go of my hand. He quietly looked at me for a while. I couldn't stare into his eyes because of the guilt, so I was avoiding his eyes when... Achoo! I sneezed. Tay grinned and looked at my clothes.
You look cold. Sit here.
Tay led me to a chair. He was slowly coming back to his usual self. Thankfully, he no longer looked worked up. As I sat down, Tay headed to the kitchen. I asked him in a hurry, "Where are you going?" Tay smiled. Now he's really back to his usual self. I finally felt relieved to see his signature smile.
You didn't drink it today.
What?
The tea that's perfect in a moment like this.
How is it perfect in a moment like this? I'm gonna fall asleep walking home. Are you going to carry me home, Tay? Oh. Tay grinned and walked to the kitchen. I sat there spacing out and waited for him to come back. I heard pots and cups clattering, and I quietly let out a sigh of relief, thinking of the smile he just gave me.
Now, I made the tea stronger than usual. My own special Triple Z.
You're really gonna have to carry me home after that. Tay came with the tea. Can you just use the kitchen like that?
He just did. It's fine. I can just clean it up later. I'll pay for the tea, so don't worry. Drink up. You'll feel warm.
Okay, thanks. I sipped the tea Tay gave me, but I couldn't just enjoy the scent like I always did. I think my heart is still pounding. But we still didn't catch the thief.
Don't worry about that now.
But still. Tay put on a serious face as I tried to say something.
You are more important to me than the harp. What if you got hurt trying to catch that thief? Please think about me too. So don't care about the harp now, alright?
I couldn't help but nod at Tay's firm attitude. I didn't want Tay to worry.
Thanks for understanding.
Tay sat by my side. "Ah, a picture, finally!" And he leaned his head on my shoulder. No, it's the other way around. I'm leaning my head on his shoulder. I don't know if they translated that wrong or if the scene just isn't supposed to match the picture. I could hear him breathe. My heart pounded again for a different reason. To hide my embarrassment, I pretended to be calm and talked to him. I feel like we're on a date right now. I don't think he would mind that.
Should we really go on a date next time?
Don't you remember what you said? You said we should keep our distance in public.
Oh, did I?
He can wear a disguise. Tay mumbled to himself. Yeah, if we go on a date, something you worry about might happen to me. I told you I don't mind, but you're bothered by it. Tay didn't say anything and just stroked my hair. So, Eri is fine talking about dating. Is she taking that seriously, though? Because she doesn't seem to actually acknowledge that he's talking about dating. Is she thinking he's just kidding? My eyes closed at his soft touch. I was slowly growing dim when I heard his quiet voice.
I just thought you might get hurt. Sorry.
About what?
I'm human now, so I don't think I've given you any good memories.
Tay said with guilt. That's not true. You have no idea how happy I am these days. Of course, there were some troubles, but I always think I'm so lucky to have you guys.
Okay, then I'm glad.
Tay moved his hands again and touched my hair. Tay, how about you?
What?
You're now human, like you said. Are you happy? Tay stayed silent for a while. Is it too hard to answer? I peered at him and stood up. At that moment, Tay embraced me tight. His arms locked me in. Go, Tay! I widened my eyes.
I still feel like I'm dreaming. I'm so happy, it scares me. If this really is a dream. I can sleep forever. Every time you say my name as soon as you wake up, and every time you start your day with the breakfast I cook. Every time you turn around when I call you, I feel like it's all a miracle.
Okay, Ari, you can't possibly not get it now. The words came out through his body and through his voice. I felt every single word.
What should I do with you? I can't even, for a second, get you out of my head.
Tay.
What should I do?
I was surprised at Tay's obsessive words, but at the same time I felt drowsy. His voice started to fade away, and all my senses slowly became numb, and eventually I couldn't hear his voice at all. My eyelids feel so heavy. No, he's saying something important right now. But before I could feel bad about it, my consciousness slowly grew dim.
What should I do? Would I be able to protect you forever?
Well, you're going to have to carry me home now, unless you're planning on putting me in a cage like some other person we know in another game. Did I sleep at the cafe? Oh God, what the heck?
Slept well?
Oh, Tay, good morning. But what time is it?
It's 9.
What? My eyes suddenly opened wide at Tay's answer. Oh my God, the academy! Huh? This is...
It's Saturday today, and we're at Banjul.
Banjul?
You don't remember yesterday?
Oh, right. Yesterday I remember coming here in the middle of the night, trying to catch the harp thief. And there was a huge fuss after that. Then I was talking with Tay, and I must have fallen asleep. Tay is already in his uniform. I chased away the sleep and got up from the sofa. I really must have spent the night at Banjul. You should have woken me up. Sleeping outside, if you woke me up, I would have gone straight home. I feel like I've troubled him for nothing.
You were sleeping so well, I couldn't. Don't worry, I was by your side the whole night.
I feel worse now. You have to work now, and I wore you out.
No, it's nothing like that, so don't think about it.
I dusted my wrinkled clothes. I should get going. If I see Mr. Hobbin, I won't have any excuses. Tay looked sorry to see me go. It was at that moment. Oh, too late!
Hear me out. The quality of the leaves I found this time are so spectacular. Huh? What is she doing here at this hour?
I was just about to leave when I bumped into Mr. Hobbin in front of the door. He looked surprised to see me, but I was more surprised and stuttered. Oh,
I asked her to get something for me. She came to give me that. Oh, really? Anyways, this is good. Since you're our first customer today, will you try out our new drink?
What?
I found some rare tea leaves during this trip. I'll go make the tea, so wait here, alright?
Mr. Hobbin smiled and stopped me from leaving. I couldn't decide what to do and just peered at Tay. Meanwhile, the door opened again. Is it Zion? Yep. Oh, what in the world is he wearing? Is that a poncho?
Oh, Zion, you're here too. Hey, come look at this. Look at what I bought.
He's very proud of the tea leaves he got. Mr. Hobbin. Zion ran towards us fast and jumped into Mr. Hobbin's arms. Well, he's very affectionate. He was startled and just stared at Zion's head. Zion couldn't raise his head and just shouted in his arms. He sounded like he was already crying. Mr. Hobbin, I'm so sorry. I was careless and whatever happens, I'll pay for the harp. So please don't kick me out.
What? What are you saying? Hey, Zion, let me go. Oi, Tay, what's wrong with him? Mr. Hobbin, actually... Now, move everyone. The harp's coming in.
The door opened again. At the intimidating voice commanding us, we all moved back from the entrance. And the harp we thought was lost entered the cafe. Huh?
Oh, just in time. Thank you so much. We really had it tough this time. You can't just call and ask for repairs in the middle of the night, and you even asked us to come and get it.
He should have left a note for his workers so that they knew.
We finally got someone who can play it, but it was left untouched for so long. There were lots to tweak.
Mr. Hobbin said while scratching his head.
Next time, please give us more time. Our workers had to stay up all night to fix it. Okay, I'll make sure of that from now on. I really wanted to see it being played this weekend. Anyways, here's the bill. This time I charged the regular fee, but if it's again another all-nighter job next time, we'll charge more.
Well, they're awfully nice.
Thank you. Now, good job, guys. We'll leave now.
After talking with Mr. Hobbin, the man and his co-workers put down the harp and left the cafe. During the whole time, we were all at a total loss for words. Especially Zion, who looked like he had just had his soul sucked out.
Mr. Hobbin, what in the world? How is it? Doesn't it look completely new? An instrument is just like a person. It's important to be touched.
Mr. Hobbin nodded and looked satisfied. And he beamed at Zion.
Now, come here, Zion. It'll have a much prettier sound now. Why don't you try playing it later to celebrate?
Mr. Hobbin, what's...
I know. You must be at a loss for words with gratitude. I understand. There can't be a nicer manager than me.
Are we going to tell him? Mr. Hobbin laughed cheerfully.
Mr. Hobbin, you left the harp for repairs. Yeah, why do you ask? And you gave them your spare key. Yeah. And you told them to take the harp in the middle of the night. Yeah, they disrupt business if they take it in the afternoon. Aren't I smart?
Not smart enough to bother telling your workers.
What do you mean smart? Then you should have told us before. I didn't know. Huh? I didn't tell you.
You didn't! Zion's shrilly voice echoed through the cafe. I barely stopped myself from laughing. Still, thank God. And there we're going to have to stop the video, but we will read the diary first. Although, I don't know if we'll have any new entries. Nope, no new entries. Because we didn't have a chance to write in our diary because we spent the night at the cafe. Well, yay, the mystery of the stolen harp has been solved. And there have been no aspersions cast on anyone. Hopefully we'll get to hear Zion play the harp soon, that'll be cool. Oh, and the confession from Tay! Oh, that was so lovely. But come on, Aerie, seriously, you need to reciprocate. You can't possibly be clueless after that confession. You can't, it's impossible. Unless she's been roofied and doesn't remember it. Duh. Alright, well anyway, I hope to see you in my future videos, and I'd be so grateful for any comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.